Japan Journal with your host Malcolm W. Adams features newsmaker, celebrity, and luminary interviews, in addition to episodes from the regular Rap About It with Mal Adams series, Japan Journal specials, and so much more. Japan Journal is the internet's #1 weekly English-language online cybercast from Japan. Every guest appearing on our shows is interviewed with Mal's signature blend of intelligence, experience, professionalism, knowledge, honesty, and humor. The results are among the best interviews to be found online. We invite you to comment, follow us, like us, share us, and subscribe to us. Thank you.
You're tuned to Japan Journal, streaming live on GNN, the global news network. We interrupt our regularly scheduled programming for this breaking news from Japan. Former Japanese Prime Minister Abe Shinzo has died after a shooting at a campaign rally in western Japan. Police have arrested a 41-year-old man for attempted murder. He's been identified as a former member of the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force. Police say the gunman admitted he tried to kill the former prime minister because he was dissatisfied with him. And now here's Japan Journal host and chief correspondent, Malcolm W. Adams with our live streaming coverage.
Well, good day, everybody. Thank you for waiting. We are now streaming live globally on GNN. This is Mal Adams on Japan Journal, the internet's #1 weekly English language online cybercast from Japan. And we have some breaking news to report to you here coming from the Media Arts Lab in beautiful downtown Kakiya City. Good day to you. It is midday, 2:19 p.m. on Friday afternoon here in Japan, on Friday, July 8th, 2022, wherever you may be in the world. That is the live stream coming to you, streaming on YouTube, and will be shared with other social media platforms of Total Communications Company Limited. We have this breaking news. Pardon my casual appearance, but it is a sudden stream that we've launched here to report to you that former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, one of the most consequential leaders in Japan's post-war history, was shot in the chest while he was making a stump speech on a street in the city of Nara on Friday in what appears to be an assassination attempt. He is reportedly in a state of cardiopulmonary arrest, cardiac arrest, otherwise known, and is showing no vital signs at the latest report. We're still awaiting a condition report, but nothing is forthcoming as of now. Here's the background on the story, however. He was unconscious when he was rushed to a hospital and was bleeding from the chest. The police have arrested the man suspected of attacking Abe. Videos of the incident published on social media showed 2 shots being fired. Apparently, someone among the observers in the stump speech was rolling video on their camera and shared it with news media, and it seems to show the exact moment of the assassinated attempt. You can see smoke rising, a loud sound, the security police reacting, and then 2 shots were fired, and Abe slumped and fell. We'll be able to share that video as we join the Republic broadcast out of India, which is streaming live here, and we will screen share that to you momentarily. But by way of background, Abe was giving a speech in front of the Yamato Sadaiji station when he was attacked at around 11:30 a.m., almost 4 hours now, 3.5 hours ago. High school students who witnessed the shooting told NHK that a man came from behind and fired 2 shots. To quote them, they say the first shot sounded like a toy bazooka, and the man then stepped back after the first one, according to one student. After the attacker fired the second shot, a large amount of white smoke appeared, according to another person. Abe was transported via a medical helicopter to Nara Medical University in the city of Kashihara, south of central Nara, according to NHK, who quoted ambulance officials. The man was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder, and the gun was confiscated. The man was identified as Tetsuya Yamagami, a 41-year-old resident in the city of Nara. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, who was in Yamagata Prefecture to give a speech for a candidate belonging to his Liberal Democratic Party ahead of Sunday's upper house election, has flown back to Tokyo. All ministers, many of whom were outside Tokyo due to the election campaign, were also called back, Chief Cabinet Secretary Hirokazu Matsunobu told us by news conference today. Quote, a barbaric act like this cannot be tolerated for any reason whatsoever, and we condemn it firmly, according to Matsuno. We will take all measures necessary. We repeat this breaking news. Former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, one of the most consequential leaders in Japan's post-war history, was shot in the chest while he was making a stump speech on a street in the city of Nara on Friday today in what appears to be an assassination attempt. He is reportedly in a state of cardiopulmonary arrest, showing no vital signs as of one late report. He was unconscious when he was rushed to a hospital and was bleeding from the chest. The police have arrested the man suspected of attacking Abe. Videos of the incident published on social media showed 2 shots being fired. Okay, we are back here live in beautiful downtown Kagawa City on Japan Journal, the internet's #1 weekly English language online cybercast from Japan. We've got an incoming call here. Just a moment. Let me just take this call. Yes, sir. Michael Coleman in Japan. What do you have to report? Just a moment, please, sir. Let me on. We've got an incoming call from our correspondent, Mr. Mike Coleman. Yes, sir, Mike.
Yeah, it seems like that weapon was handmade, maybe 3D printed, pretty short cut-off shotgun style, no handle.
Okay, I'm not sure if you're audible here as I stream live here, but Mike Coleman out of Tokyo reports that apparently the weapon of the suspect was apparently handmade, custom designed, and possibly produced by 3D, what did you call it?
3D printing.
3D printing device. So that could have been made at home. And as I reported earlier, some high school students in the crowd saw the shooting going down. The suspect shot once, stepped back. The kick from the rifle apparently stepped him back. And then he shot the second time, and they saw a plume of smoke emanating from the weapon. Michael Coleman out of Tokyo is reporting to us now that there are indications that it was 3D printing, a device made by 3D printing. So what else are you hearing there in Tokyo, my friend?
Oh, just that some people believe that because of the device being handmade,
yes,
it seems to be pointing towards one individual and not some big group that would probably have access to a real weapon.
Got it. Okay, so in case you're not able to hear what Mike Coleman is reporting, he says because of the fact that it was homemade, made by this particular individual, the suspect, there were early suspicions that as to the cause of the shooting, or there was indeed a political assassination based on some revenge or some organized crime-backed incident, but this would indicate that was not the case, since this was something done by the individual who has been arrested and is being questioned at the moment. That's a really, so that kind of eliminates, Mike, the suspicion that maybe this could have been a paid hit job, so to speak.
Yeah, it kind of seems like if it was a paid hit job, they would have used a legitimate weapon.
Right. And maybe that sounds strange to some of our listeners globally who know that Japan is by and large a peaceful nation. And the real shock here is that there would be such a political assassination attempt that would have occurred here in Japan. Not so in the West, in Europe, or in the United States. Certainly not in the United States. But this is very unusual for Japan. So what we're assuming here and alluding to Michael's analysis is that since the weapon was made by 3D printing, possibly at his home. And this guy, a former self-defense force Navy member, so he may have had the skills to do this and may have been taking this attempted assassination up on his own. The other side of that coin would be that if it were to be suspected to have been um, instigated by some kind of organized crime organization or a paid hit job, the weapon in question would have been an illegal weapon, something smuggled in or purchased illegally. And there are such things in Japan, but they're usually in the hands of organized crime members. Is that what you're suggesting, Michael?
Yeah, that's the way it seems to me.
Okay.
You know, we're still waiting for the updates, but if that is the case, then perhaps he has a better chance of survival because the weapon itself may not have had the power to do the damage that you know to kill him. Right?
Okay, that's an interesting analysis. Except for the fact that I reported earlier on this stream that we have been sharing with our viewers who are watching a stream live on our YouTube channel. We've borrowed and joined a stream from Republic TV out of India, which is streaming live in English, and we learned from some of their latest reports that in fact Abe has not been showing vital signs at all. And this thing, it's now what in Japan? What time do we have here in Japan? 2:43 p.m.
Yeah,
It went down at 11:30. No, then 1:30. Almost 3.5 hours ago, and he apparently the report that he was not showing vital signs went out more than 2 hours ago. So we're hoping for the best, but it appears to be problematic that if he is not responding to medical attention. So, yeah. So apparently that gun had the power to, cause massive bleeding. Apparently at the site of the shooting, from early reports from medical authorities and the medevac people by helicopter reported to NHK that in fact he was bleeding heavily and was indeed unconscious at the time of him being rescued. So.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
Not looking good. Not looking good. I indicated on my YouTube, rather my Facebook channel, which I'm not allowed to stream live on because we're under some restrictions 2 years ago. Apparently, I don't know what's going on with Facebook, but they're really late in issuing a restriction, not only to me but others who have shared a meme of Donald Trump indicating that he was drinking Clorox as a solution to the coronavirus. You remember that? I shared it, and I've subsequently been reprimanded just a few days ago. So I'm not the only one. Several of my collaborators and associates have indicated they've also been pushed back by Facebook recently, and that strikes me as kind of strange. You know, as a journalist here, we get a license to report these kind of things as long as we make attribution and not purporting that it is something of fact or what have you. You see, and so I have appealed that restriction, which they have prevented me from going live on Facebook for the next 29 days. So we're circumventing them by going live on our YouTube channel, and hopefully we'll share it to the Facebook subsequent to this broadcast. So we'll see what happens. Thank you very much for giving my technical update there. You did indicate that the stream on YouTube, the audio was rather low. Is that right?
Yeah. It seems like the audio for the news feed that you're running live was pretty low.
Okay, but that did come across. Okay, very good. I've got it muted right now. We're still it's still streaming on my another YouTube channel, and let's go back to that, Michael, right now and see what they have to contribute. I'll do that. I'll share that screen with you while you're still online, and please let me know if you can see anything. Let's see. No, let me see here. Yes, okay, I'm gonna stop sharing and screen share. Again, we do have that live broadcast sharing to you now. You should be getting that soon, and it is muted. Here's the audio. How about are you able to hear it and confirm it on your end on the YouTube stream?
I'm trying to
Okay.
look at it with my iPad now, but I'm not able to really.
Okay. Seems okay on this end, but it helps to have somebody from the outside to confirm. Let me.
The Zoom, the one that I'm trying to look at right now, yeah. Okay, let me hit the live one. Okay, yeah, it's better.
It's audible?
Yeah, it's good now.
Great. So we've got about 10-second delay on you and I talking now. And it'll come. Oh, here is the Kishida report. I'm going to mute you. And let's listen to what Prime Minister Kishida is saying right now.
本日午前中昼前ですが、奈良県において安倍晋三元総理が銃撃をされ、そして今現在深刻な状況にあると。
For our listeners, it's in Japanese, of course, and what he's basically is describing what I've reported already from the Japan Times release. And we'll let you know, translating in Japanese, if there's any new information to share with you in English. Okay, Mike, hit me back if you learn anything more. I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much. That's Michael Coleman reporting to us from Tokyo on Japan Journal on the Global News Network here. We are now joining the live stream of Prime Minister Kishida, who has returned from the campaign trail back to Tokyo upon the news of this assassination attempt, and we'll allow you to listen to it in Japanese, and we'll get an analysis of it subsequent to his report. Let's see. Okay, so you should now be able to see full screen depiction of this is the suspect being apprehended by security, and I'm not sure whether there's a weapon. There's something on the ground there, apparently. If you could see my cursor, something there that may be the device. Let's just take a look at more pictures. Okay, the fellow is being apprehended, and by 3 officers there, as you can see. Scrolling down, oh, this is an early shot indicating the, so he's holding the device apparently. If you look at the mouse there, you can see something in his hand, and he's being rushed by 1, 2, and maybe another security person, not seeming to try to escape. And here, some people are asking, what is Tetsuya Yamagami's nationality, his address, and what is your political thought, and where do you belong? Dismantle everything and arrest everyone. Is what some one who contributed this photo is saying. So look, this guy, these are the first time. I don't know that these shots have been streamed yet, but this is kind of exclusive from a Japanese online publication of photos taken by observers in the crowd listening to Abe's speech. Clear shot of a young man. Okay, so nothing in his hand, so the device must have been dropped. And this person, you who contributed this shot, said this guy and his organization should be thoroughly investigated and destroyed. Okay, these are photos shared by people with mobile phones. Okay, and there's a bigger picture of the device. Clearly a homemade device, I see. Interesting. These shots are contributed by our correspondent Nikki Sekino in nearby Chiba, just east of Tokyo, in the Tokyo metropolitan area. And another shot of the suspect being apprehended. this particular person by the name of Midwinter says that if the SPs move like this, look behind them from the beginning. I want you to find out which party supporter and nationality this Tetsu Yamagami is. So everybody's curious about this person's background, who he represents, and this is him being arrested. So don't see the weapon though. It may have already been apprehended. Here's another shot from Sanae Takaichi, and it shows a picture of the weapon there on the asphalt. Here's another shot of him being apprehended. This is a repeat shot of what we saw. I think this is a picture taken from video, and there is the suspect encircled there in red. So the device apparently was not recognized by any bystanders as being a weapon, so it was something that was indicated by Mike Coleman to have been 3D printed and manufactured, customized, possibly at the person's home. And had he been carrying it openly, would not have been suspected as being a weapon or a threat, as indicated here. He's pretty much standing by, waiting for his opportunity. Very interesting. Okay, these are photos from a blog, and that's the end of it. We'll just scroll back up so you can see that is the device in question. So former member of the Japan Self-Defense Forces Navy branch, and no, not many more details. Excuse me, coming forward about him, or forthcoming about his background, or who he may be affiliated with, or as indicated by some of the questions of the people taking these photographs, as to his motive for this shocking event in Japan. And let me just go back to our messenger messages and see if Mr. Nikki Sekino is available to contribute. Hi, good. How are you? I'm actually streaming live on YouTube, and I shared your photos. I'm continuing as I speak to you now. We're on live, and I shared your photos. Thank you very much for that contribution. And I just let my viewers know we're actually on live now. So if you don't mind, would you share whatever details you can with us about what you have shared? I've already posted and shared, screen shared your photos. Those are very interesting. Apparently taken by. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Nikki Sekino from Chiba. I'm talking to the audience as I talk to you, Nikki. So hold on. Let me just indicate he is available to share commentary with us, and we'll try to make his audio available. So, Nikki, if you don't mind, how would you describe those images, and what is the source of those? I just showed the pictures, but was that a Japanese publication? Oh, sorry. I was just asking you to share with us what you know or read in Japanese about those photos, and the source of those photos. Was that a Japanese publication? Japanese publication. Should I speak in Japanese now? No, please speak in English. Please speak in English. Mm-hmm. Yeah, according to the website that I saw, it was taken by private citizens who have witnessed the incident, people who were listening to Abe's speech. Okay. And they heard the
shot, and they witnessed the guy. His name is Tetsuya
Yamagami. Hi.
Yamagami, that's his last name, and he was apprehended by security police for Abe's private security guards.
Yes. Okay.
So they saw the kind of events, and they took the pictures and they uploaded it into I don't know, website, YouTube.
Yes.
And so they can upload it, the pictures.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. That's consistent with what we saw. The page that I did not translate it into English, so it did appear in Japanese, but I was able to make out that these are actually submissions by, as you indicate, private citizens who took the photos on the spot there. Some of them are very clear. Some of them are very interesting. It's really an interesting commentary on new media right now, as we call that new term. Anybody can be a self-styled journalist right now. Yeah, so those photos precede anything that the mainstream media has been able to get because they were captured on the spot and then shared instantaneously. So that's an interesting element. Thank you very much for sharing that and recognizing those things. Yeah. So, but I noticed some of the comments from the people who submitted those photos. They indicated that they wanted to know who this person was and who he was affiliated with politically and what was his motive. Did you notice some of the comments from the camera people?
He was arrested by the police, and then nothing has been revealed.
No, I'm saying the comments on the photos, which they. Oh yeah. I read some of them, and I was able to share what I could make out in Japanese. People are indicating that they're commenting their shock about the incident and saying that almost consistently everyone's saying, who is this guy and who is he affiliated with? It was the concern expressed by those people who took the photos. So that's very interesting. That indicates how shocking this thing has been received by people all over the nation. The nation is in shock right now. Particularly the way in which this was done, an attempted political assassination by such violence of guns. That's not uncommon in the United States or even in Europe, but in Japan, this is unheard of, and it's rather shocking. What is your analysis in that respect about the degree to which Japan is a pretty much a non-violent society, right?
Right. That's very true.
And as a Japanese person, what's your reaction about this?
Pretty bad. Okay. I'm thinking since I'm a teacher, I'm thinking of like low level of education in Japan too. Well, I should have said too. A low level of education in Japan, like react to your emotions without any what is it?
Intellectual analysis or something.
Right. That's the word.
Yeah.
I have a gun. I'm gonna kill him. That's too short, too low grade. I don't like it. And then I'm beginning to see this type of a thing happening in Japan.
Really?
So if like a gun is allowed, possession of a gun is allowed in Japan, gun-related accidents and incidents will happen in Japan.
Oh yes, but as we've mentioned, in fact, weapons are not allowed in Japan unless there's some special license certification for hunting or something like that. And but handguns like this are totally not allowed. In sharp contrast to the situation in the United States, where every week now we're hearing about a mass killing with military grade weapons, AR-15s and these kind of things, which are designed for military combat, and you can just pull the trigger and shoot scores of bullets in a crowd, you know, and kill many people, as we have heard just last week and the week before and the week before. That and I'm wondering, do you feel that some of that is being is kind of contagious in the minds of weak-minded people in Japan? Who is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm suggesting. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. I think that's reasonable to assume such a thing too. The degree to which this kind of tragic violence has been going on in America in recent weeks, just week after week after week, all over the country, mass killings.
Yes.
It's crazy. Me, as someone who's lived in Japan for over 4 decades, it's shocking but not surprising for me. And we tend, those of us who live abroad and outside of America, tend to grow numb about such a thing until we see it in the headlines and we read again and say, not again. But I can imagine a Japanese person who observes such a thing is really shocked, and the image of America is certainly suffers as a result of this kind of thing. And then, of course, it's not only America, but it also Western in Europe as well. You have some kind of thing, but not to the same extent that it's seen in the United States. So my friend and colleague and supporter that you know, Mr. Mike Coleman in Tokyo, did a similar correspondence as you're doing now, indicating for the first time, I think we may have been the first to report, that the weapon was apparently made by 3D printing, made at home. Have you heard that?
Oh, yes, and that's it. Actually, I was wondering about it because he could have made the gun himself.
No question. Apparently, that's what's being reported. He made it by 3D printing. And I have a good friend, Mr. Andrew Wilhite, who's a good friend in the United States, who has one of these 3D printers, and he's demonstrated. He makes design and arts and crafts and presents and film for things like that. But it's an amazing technology that you can actually create and make. In this case, a weapon that could actually be used in an incident like that, circumventing the strict Japanese laws that prohibit such a thing. And so this person, as a former member of the Japanese Self-Defense Force Navy Division, apparently might have had some skills or knowledge about how to make a weapon. I'm not sure, but I'm assuming that if he can do this at home, anybody can do this at home if they have some instructions on how to use a 3D printer. And then the second part of that is that in our recovery chair, we've reported that from the people who were observing the Abe speech indicated, and also from some of the security forces indicated that they were kind of surprised that the sound emanating from the weapon was not that of a typical weapon. So they knew something was strange about the device being used. And some young people reported that there were 2 shots. The first shot made a popping sound, and then the second shot made a louder sound, and then smoke emanated from the device, and which expert analysis of that seems to indicate that that's not typical of a normal weapon. So the security people said they knew right away that this was some kind of a device made by hand, homemade device. So yeah, and then as you saw in the photos that you shared with us, you could see it was kind of a black contrived device. You could see. So he would not have been suspected of holding an open carrying of a weapon, with if he was holding that device. It just looks like some kind of a, in Japanese we say nimotsu, some kind of a package only. So he would not have been apprehended. I'm watching NHK now, and I just saw NHK reporting a video of a comment by the new ambassador to Japan, Ron Emanuel. Have I got got his name right. Yeah. Former President Obama's chief of staff. He was a former, before this, he was the Chicago mayor, and now is the ambassador to Japan from the United States. So he went on and made a comment, and I'm sure, as most heads of state around the world are now contributing their comments about the shock of this happening in Japan. So we just hope for the best, hope that Abe comes through, but it's not looking good, as he has not shown any vital uh, statistics in the past 3 hours. So I'm sure if they know whether or not he's passed away or not, they will not report it until it's some kind of coordinated response from the government, I suspect. Yeah. Yeah.
His wife left the Tokyo home a few hours ago.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, I saw it on TV.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So that might be.
There's quite a distance between Tokyo and Nara.
Yeah.
By the Shinkansen, it'll take about 3 hours at least.
Okay.
3 to 12 hours, yeah.
In case you cannot hear that, what Mr. Sekino is saying, that to travel back to Japan from Nara, which is beyond this, in western Japan, in the Kyoto, Osaka area, would take, what do you say, 3 hours?
I would say at least 3 hours.
Yeah, at least 3, maybe 4, because from Tokyo to where I'm reporting from in Shizuoka, Kakegawa City, it's almost 2 hours. And so for another hour, at least 3 hours, yeah. And then on the high speed, the Nozomi or something, if they can catch that, it could be done in less time. But was his wife with him? Do you know?
No, apparently she was at home.
Okay, so in Tokyo, I see. But the news reporters indicate she had left the home and headed somewhere, right?
Right.
Okay.
It was about 30 minutes ago or an hour ago.
I see.
An hour ago, yeah.
Well, she may be headed to the hospital in Nara, huh?
Could have been, yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently.
From Haneda Airport or by private plane, state helicopter or something. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Nikki, thank you very much for your report. I appreciate it. I will talk to you later. I'm going to end this broadcast for now and process the video and post it on my Facebook channel so my subscribers there can see. We've been reporting now here on Japan Journal for the better part of 2 hours since I spoke to you earlier. Okay, thank you very much. I'll talk to you as soon as I end this broadcast, okay?
Okay.
And thank you very much. That's Nikki Sekino reporting from Chiba in near Tokyo. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you soon. All right. And so that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for another edition of Japan Journal. Breaking news here. Let us just resume and reiterate what we know so far. I'm going to just scroll through here on my NHK reports and see what the latest may be, the top story, see if there's any update, and I'll share that with you. Yes, this seems to be a later report, but not so much new information. This is was posted on NHK World Japan's news page in English. In case you want to follow the story after we end our broadcast momentarily, you can do so wherever you may be in the world. That's NHK World in English broadcast. And they are indicating that former Japanese Prime Minister Abe Shinzo is in critical condition after a shooting at a campaign rally in western Japan. Police have arrested a 41-year-old man for attempted murder. He's been identified as a former member of the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force. Police say the gunman admitted he tried to kill Abe because he was dissatisfied with him. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this particular edition of Japan Journal. This is Mal Adams reporting live from the Media Arts Lab in beautiful downtown Kakegawa City in the western section of Shizuoka Prefecture on the Global News Network, streaming over YouTube, and we'll subsequently be sharing this video on our Facebook pages and our Twitter pages for our other subscribers. to see it. This is going to then end our live broadcast here on this Friday in Japan. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Mal Adams. Thank you very much for joining us, and please stay tuned to our postings on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook page. Thank you very much, and have a great day.
Japan Journal with your host Malcolm W. Adams features newsmaker, celebrity, and luminary interviews, in addition to episodes from the regular Rap About It with Mal Adams series, Japan Journal specials, and so much more. Japan Journal is the internet's #1 weekly English-language online cybercast from Japan. Every guest appearing on our shows is interviewed with Mal's signature blend of intelligence, experience, professionalism, knowledge, honesty, and humor. The results are among the best interviews to be found online. We invite you to comment, follow us, like us, share us, and subscribe to us. Thank you.